Appreciate everyone joining us this
It's
evening.
the corn.
So I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular scheduled work session for June 1st, 2020 at 6 p.m. And Ms. Berner.
Mayor Lowry.
Here.
Councilwoman Hopkins.
Here.
Councilman Grimm.
Here.
Councilwoman Nowakowski.
Here.
Councilman Cobb.
Here.
Councilwoman Eggleston.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cook.
Yep.
Okay, he's here. He's having looks like his camera's having issues.
Okay, 7 members present.
Okay. So now we lost
Amy.
I don't
Amy's
think
gone
we've
now.
got good technical. This thing keep dropping out.
Just a second.
Okay.
Amy, we can hear you, so I think we can proceed.
Okay, go on and I'll work on. I'm back, I think.
Yep. There you are.
Good.
Okay, and tonight's invocation will be by Councilman Ron Cobb.
Dear Heavenly Father, give us the strength to make the right decision for the citizens of the community. Look out for our first responders, our deputy sheriffs, our fire department, and watch over the people who have come in contact with the pandemic. Also, let's try to stop all this rioting going on around the country. And everybody be safe. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you, sir.
You'll get my bill later.
All right. And let's see, I think Dale was getting our flag.
A little late, but I've got it.
That's all right. I meant to ask you before it started. My apologies. So you can stand if you like. It's sometimes tricky being on camera and whatnot. So we'll just do the best we can because there's always delays for everybody. So the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice.
All right. Thank you very much. Actions on minutes, none. Communications, none. City manager's report, none. Mr. Bridge, I doubt we do, but do we have any comments from the public at this time?
Not this time.
Okay, thank you. Committee reports, none. Resolutions, none. Ordinances, none. Other business. Legislation discussion. Mr. Bridge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Vice Mayor Cook, can you hear us? Try to get.
Yeah, I hear
Okay.
you, but I'm like people.
Okay. All right. So the legislation we have in front of council tonight, one is going to be introduced and voted on tonight. That is resolution 2020.07R. And then one is just for introduction tonight. That is ordinance 2020-20. The resolution before council tonight is one that we do anytime that we have a finance director or anyone else listed on our big signatory cards. Once they are no longer employed with the city, we have to, by resolution or ordinance, go to council to have that name taken off. And because a name was taken off, we have to add one back on. And when we do hire a new finance director, we'll have another legislation into council just to put things back, quote unquote, the way they were. But this one for tonight's resolution will be introduced and voted on tonight. It asks that I remain as the main signatory, but we're also going to put Howard Kitko as a main signatory. So basically what that means is any check that goes out has to have either my name on it or Howie's name on it. And our secondary signatories would be Vicki Taylor Witt and also Derek Hutchinson, our planning director. And again, once we get our finance director back, we'll go back to the way it was, to where Derek won't have any planning power at all. And then I will be the main. The finance director will be another main, and there are two other secondary signatures would be Mr. Kitko and Vicki Taylor. So that's a pretty self-explanatory one. Again, it's a housekeeping one. Every time we have a turnover, as signatory power. The ordinance up for introduction only tonight. It will be voted on at the second meeting of the month. That is the ordinance permitting myself to post the finance director job posting and setting the possible compensation for that position as well. So we discussed last week at executive session, so it's in front of everybody tonight. That's the two legislation pieces, and again, we discussed this meeting on one. That is all I have for the legislative, and then we can open it up for just any city business related questions should council have any.
Okay, just a note, I know Linda says she's having connection problems, so can you hear us, Linda?
I can hear, but it breaks up badly.
Okay,
Randy was breaking up for me too.
He was for me too.
okay.
Also,
All right, does council have any questions for Mr. Bridge regarding that subject? Nope, doesn't appear so. Okay. Mr. Bridge, back to you.
No, I just left it at, that's all I have for legislation for the work session. So any open topics that council would like to discuss?
Okay, we'll just go down. Does council have anything they'd like to go over in the work session before we move forward?
yeah, I got a couple of things.
Okay. I think Linda had something too, so we'll get Mr. Vice Mayor, then we'll go to you, Linda.
Okay,
Okay, I don't know whether or not you all are aware, but Mr. Claire Miller is in very critical shape. I was apprised by his wife yesterday that number one, he is in critical shape and it is not looking good at this point. So I will keep you all apprised as I become apprised, and that will take care of that one.
Mr. Cook, just 1 second on that topic. I think Mr. Bridge had an update on that.
All right, go ahead.
I did get a text message early this morning from a staff member who informed me that he did pass away.
Oh,
Have you been
Well, now,
updated on that, or is that misinformation sent to me
I had spoken with his son about 3 o'clock.
today?
It was not the case.
I was misinformed by this particular employee then, but I was told this morning at 10:30, 11 o'clock that he had in fact passed.
That may have been from the email that I sent to that staff person. And I mentioned that he was in critical shape, but not that he had expired.
Okay, this was at 11:56 a.m. So, sorry, but just letting you know what I was told.
Okay, we'll follow up on that and let you know at that point.
Sure.
Second factor, I got from Mr. Bridge a copy of the specifications for our trash removal, which was done in 2016. If at all possible, I would like some input from council at probably the next work session of any changes that we might want to make to those specifications.
any comments, council, for the trash?
For the what trash is this referring to?
We want to
What
pick up,
other trash is there besides what trash you put out to the curb, ma'am?
I didn't know if that was it or the mass pickup that Mr. Grimm was talking about earlier.
No, this is your day. This is your weekly trash removal recycling service.
Okay.
Our
Thank
contract is up at the end of the year, December 1, I think. So what I'll do is I'll send council the copy of what I sent Vice Mayor Cook, so council can have that to start reviewing it. But it's something that we need to get council input on, so you guys can get citizen input, so we can start the bidding process.
My only question to Mr. Vice Mayor, Mr. Bridge, I don't have the info in front of me, but is there a smaller, maybe me and you had talked about it, Mr. Vice Mayor, about the smaller option can for single individuals, elderly people, people that live alone. Is that something we discussed about making that an option?
We have it
Well-
now.
There's an option for seniors, but you have to be 65.
Okay, that's what it was. So maybe making that limitation of the age to possibly anyone that maybe just lives alone.
Right, because I put trash out once a month.
Okay.
I would inform council of a few things. The thing with, I talked to Vice Mayor Cook about this, and of course, clearly it's council's decision at the end. Just my professional opinion is maybe suggest lowering the age limit on that small container, because what you'll get is a family of 4 who wants the small one just because it's cheaper, and then they can't dispose of their trash in a timely manner. And then they
Right.
store it in their house and stuff. So I see the need definitely for like something like Miss Eggleston, where she's not really 65 and she lives alone. But I don't think I think there needs to be some stipulations about who can actually get that small one. And the carrier themselves might not agree to that, because, I know when we did it with our current contract, they were adamant about having that senior pricing for 65 and up.
Okay.
I think Mr. Bridge and I had discussed dropping the age to maybe 55. And I think that might put us into the realm of most of those senior people at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a bad idea to me.
But I'll give everyone the bid spec so everyone can look at it. It is a lengthy document with all the options and stuff like that, but so everyone's on the same page. I'll definitely get it out. I'm making notes as we go along. So,
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Vice Mayor?
I think that'll hold me for right now.
All right. Thank you, sir. And Ms. Nowakowski.
Several weeks ago, I received an email from John Kraybacher that was informing me of an available grant that is for community, primarily food waste disposal, composting kinds of project. And I sent that off to Randy to look at. The smallest grant that the USDA is giving out on this is a $45,000 grant. It does require some matching funds, and they need to include other parts of the community. Not just, it's not us coming up with I think it's $10,000 that's required. Would maybe, it can be in kind, it can be services. It's just $10,000 that the community is putting into it. I'm working on coming up with a bunch of lists. This has a potential of creating some really good things in terms of involving the school district and potentially dealing with the food waste that they have at the schools, that would then be worked out so how it could be delivered, and we could add it to the composting that we're doing at Westlake already. And then making that compost available to the community for a decreased price over what they would have to pay for it to enrich their gardens at home, or their garden beds in a community garden, or potted plants, whatever. I think Randy and Derek and I are going to meet sometime very soon to at least go over the rudiments of it, to see whether it might be something that we could do. But the city does need to be involved. They need to be a partner in this. I just wanted to advise you, the thing is due in the end of June. So it's going to be something that's going to go pretty fast. But I wanted everybody to know we were doing this, and have any input you might have on whether you think it might be a good idea.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions or comments for Ms. Nowakowski on this?
Is the area up there at North Flay or at the North Garden Center feasible and zoned for that type of an operation?
I don't know. I mean, it would probably depend on what we were doing. As long as we're doing it as part of the garden, I don't know. It's certainly going to be something that's on the edge of anything that's there, because it's not something that's been considered at all.
Right now it's residential.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question, was kind of piggyback off of Mr. Vice Mayor, was Mr. Bridge, composting. I mean, I don't know a lot about gardening, but I mean, is that an issue with the zoning? I mean, does composting sometimes put off odors?
Oh, it does
Maybe.
sometimes. I'll have Derek kind of do some digging tomorrow on it. I like the idea of the grant. I'm there for it. When we originally talked about it, I'll be very honest with you, what worries me is the $10,000 required. Because a lot of people are saving money right now, but we have to try. And we have this coming on June 4th. There's a big webinar, and it's going to go over the program. And so we've been kind of waiting to see how this webinar goes. And then we have no problem like going out and helping the community garden. It's a great aspect for the community. But the $10,000 match, I don't know how the community garden is going to get that. But this is something that
One thing that we should consider in that is that currently Reisner Tree Service is supplying us with all of the wood chips that they generate in their business. And they could turn around and sell that as mulch or decorative mulch, so that we could price that out, and that's gonna make a big chunk in that for sure.
One of the things, if you go to that webinar, one of the experiences I've had with a compost is it draws rats. So maybe they will have a solution where it won't.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. Anyone else?
And
All right, anything else, Ms. Nowakowski?
Nope, that's it. I just wanted everybody to know what's going on.
All right,
And then Ms. Eggleston, we'll probably have some more information for them at the next council meeting in June. My goal is to watch the webinar, and then the week after that, sit down with Councilman Nowakowski and Derek. You know, this is a community garden project that when we first really talked about it, I told her the city would help where as needed, absolutely. So we are going to, but I think we'll have a lot more information after this week, and probably a lot more to come back to council on second.
all right. Thank you, Mr. Bridge. All right, council, any other topics you'd like to go over before we?
I do.
I heard Miss Hopkins, so we'll hit Miss Hopkins, and then I think Mr. Cobb.
Yeah, go ahead and let her.
Okay, Miss Hopkins.
Okay.
I'm going to just put the notes here. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. I know we're saving money and we're trying to see how things are going, but as far as our budget went, our capital improvements, have we done anything at all? Purchased the car or the vehicle for the fire department?
When this first started, we had brought the council what we're going to hold off of. So I know the fire stuff was already bought, so we couldn't stop that. So anything that was in the process that we couldn't stop would still be going on, but anything other than that, we haven't done anything big. I know the park department will be buying a mower, but I sent an Excel sheet out to council, I don't know, probably 4 meetings ago, And I just review that because it's a pretty detailed Excel sheet about what was on there, what was recommended to pause, and what we actually need to keep. So we did slice a lot of that off as far as the expenditures go. So like the city building downtown, that renovation, some other big ticket items, clearly furniture. But I really just advise council to maybe go back through that Excel sheet because it's broken out by department. And find out
Okay.
what we're off on.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I want us to start on Madison again to get rid of that and to renovate the new city building, especially since we're purchasing another city building, because I don't want our current city building, not the one we're in, but the one we purchased, we're renovating. I don't want it to turn into a Madison. And I think things are evening out a little bit. And I think we should get back to that CIP and get some things done, especially Madison and the renovation of the new city building.
Oh, I will say, just give us some time on the Madison School because council is going to get some very good information on that here very soon. Some great information, actually. And as far as the building renovation downtown, Ms. Hopkins, I'm right there with it. I mean, I put a lot of blood, sweat, and quite frankly, tears in that building last year, getting it all designed. So it is on my list. So what council decided to do at the 2 meetings ago was to kind of hold off for a couple months and see how everything starts coming in, because right now we're starting to see how our revenues are going to be impacted with the CCA collections. So the goal was to, with that building, hold off for a few months and then September, October, look at that and then bring it back if the revenue's staying at that point in time then. So what I ask is give us maybe a month or two to see how we're going to receive our revenues coming in. And then council will have a better picture about when to direct me, when to go back on.
So can we set a date like September 1st so it's not abstract?
Yeah, I'm down with that. Let me look at my calendar real quick, find out.
Okay.
So we have two meetings in September, would be the 1st and the 15th. So, it's just like this month, 1st and the 15th. So if council wants some information, I would ask for the 15th because that would give us a little bit more time to receipt for the month before, if that makes sense.
Well,
So-
let's see. That means we have all the month of June, July, August.
And then
So
middle-
it'll be a little bit over 3 months.
Yeah, and that should give us a general idea of how that revenue is going to come in. It's not just our CCA collections. It's our property tax revenue that we get from this county, so we're starting to see a clear picture like that of, what our revenue projection is going to look like. So September 1 is okay. September 15th is preferred. However, council wants to move forward with that, I'm fine.
Yeah, whatever date you were most comfortable with is fine with me, Mr. Bridge.
Ms. Hopkins, Councilwoman Hopkins, are you okay with September 15th?
Yes, I am. As long as we don't go past that.
I got a note right here.
Okay.
So that note is going to be just to revisit the city building renovation.
Yes. And what did you say about the Madison?
We'll have some very good information coming out here soon. The county has to approve some things, and I don't want to get ahead of it. If you want to give me a call, I'll definitely talk with you over the phone about it.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Bridge.
No problem.
That's all I.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. Before we move on to Mr. Cobb, I just kind of wanted to ask something related to Ms. Hopkins' questions. Mr. Bridge, if we get to that point where we realize that our funds are kind of balanced out and okay, and we're not going to be, short on funds, if, say, the street department had, some particular piece of equipment that was in the CIP and the budget allows for it, are we going to go ahead and let them do that? Or are we going to try and still hold off?
No. I mean, anything over the threshold of my spending authority, which is, I think it's 20, will go to council anyway. Anything below that, I can go ahead and get, but it's something that given today's environment, I would probably shoot you guys an email or just wait till the next council meeting and say, hey, these are the things that we should probably go ahead and start getting. And
Okay.
just ask for approval on that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mr. Cobb, to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bridge,
Yes,
I know
sir.
Mr. Grimm has talked to you about the community cleanup.
Yeah.
Are we planning that or planning not to do it?
Yeah, no, that's going on. I don't know where the confusion came with that, but it's actually something I did have on my city manager report. But I did talk with Mr. Kiko about that last week. Yeah, we are going to do it. It may not be around the same time that we did it last year, but it definitely will be somewhat close after the community garage sale. So that is something that we always were going to do. We just didn't know when we were going to do it.
So if we can't sell it, we throw it away.
What's that?
If we can't sell it, we throw it away.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the community garage sale is coming up at the end of the month. So I'm assuming we don't want to do it the next weekend because that's July 4th. So we can maybe assume the weekend after that. But Mr. Kiko is going to be working on getting all the dumpsters secured. But just to reiterate, so the public knows, yes, we are having it. It was just a little bit delayed with what's going on with COVID.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Cobb?
No, that's it.
All right. Anyone else? Any other subjects?
Ron took my thunder.
All right.
All right.
No problem.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd like to go back and revisit one of the resolutions. I have a note here that I forgot to mention. It's very simple.
Yes, sir.
But when we get into regular session and council votes on that, I made a mistake. One of the signatories on here, her name is Vicki Taylor. She's our tax administrator. Well, she actually changed her last name not too long ago, and it's not in my head yet. So we need to make a motion to approve that to Vicki Taylor Witt, opposed to just Vicki Taylor.
Okay. So Vicki Taylor Witt.
Yes. Yep, yep.
Okay.
And then when we get to that, I'll just remind everyone, it's her name. Her name's now hyphenated.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hutchinson, you have anything you want to add before we end this?
Yeah, I would like to just bring council up to date and citizens watching from home. I know this past week I've received numerous phone calls about the height of a lot of the vacant properties, the grass around town. And we were starting behind the 8 ball this season with the COVID-19, and then some personnel changing around that we were behind the game. Today our crews were out starting on a lot of those properties, starting with the worst one that seemed to be the issue was the one at 571 at Jefferson there, right behind the Rite Aid, the vacant lots there. I was able to contact quite a bit of property owners that are out of state that owns a few of these vacant properties, and a lot of them did actually take care of it themselves. So saved us some time and money there. It's unfortunate that we have to do that, but as long as it gets done either by them or by us, that's the important thing. But just let citizens know and council know that we're keeping up to speed with this. So once these tall ones get knocked out the first round, they usually go pretty smoothly after that. But there was a delay, and we do apologize for that.
Yeah, I almost got hit the other day because you can't see down Jefferson coming down Pike Street.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with the notices, we have to do the legal notices, and we literally, as soon as the day I took over, I issued those notices when we had the personnel change, and then with last weekend being Memorial Day, the Parks Department was pretty busy, so this was really the first week we could really get ahead of it. So making progress today, so we'll get there.
Awesome, great. Thank you for the report.
And council, that was a good segue. Now that we got some time here on our work session, that's what this is about, open discussion. One of the things that Derek and I will be talking about is actually contracting out those grass abatements. It does put a lot of stress on our street department. And a few years ago, when I was still the planning director, I do believe in 2014, we did contract out for the grass abatements. It was like $30 a lot for a company out of Springfield, and it made everything go a lot faster. It did. It opened up the street guys to them to go out and do dirt patching, and then the abatements happened a lot quicker. So that's something that we will be looking at. See how the funds play out this year. We might end up actually doing it this year a little bit later on, or we might just do research it and bring it back next year. But it is something that we are going to look at because it does increase efficiencies across the board with the street department. And if we do that, of course, we'll bring council abreast of the situation and definitely let you guys know. But it all would be in order to make it everything just happen a lot quicker.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Cobb.
Mr. Bridge.
Yes.
The light blinded me. The curb or some of these curb openings we got. I seen a kid down here on Lake Street run right into the hole, or not Lake Street, but Villa, where he run in that big hole with his bicycle. Of course, he may have not been paying attention. How much longer are they going to stay open?
Are you saying potholes in the Villa?
No, where they dug the curb out to replace it from the trash truck.
Okay, that's something I'll have to get with Howie about. I thought that was fixed. Did they re-break it?
The hole's still open,
Okay,
same way on, Washington. They haven't been filled in yet.
you said Washington too, sir?
Yes, sir. Right there, almost right the second house from, third house from Henry, going west on Washington.
Third house from Henry. Yeah, I'll shoot Howie a note in the morning and then he can go take a look at it and then, I'll see what to do about that.
I'm just wondering, because last I seen, they hadn't done anything yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speculate and answer something I don't know all the answers to, but I will definitely get an answer and then get back to you guys.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb. And anyone else? Any other topics for the work session? All right. Well, I guess we can, let's see, it is 6:35. I guess we will take a break and the regular council meeting would resume at 7 o'clock, maybe a minute or so after in case there's a technical problem, but should be right at 7 o'clock. So if no one else has anything else, we could have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Move to adjourn.
Oh, Mr. Bridges.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just having council so you know, we're going to close this section and actually join the meeting off of the regular session invite that I gave you.
okay.
Sorry.
No problem. I saw like 4 people with their hands up for the motion to,
Done the first, and I second it.
Who was the first? I didn't catch that.
Mr. Grimm,
okay.
Okay.
And second by Mr. Cobb.
All right. Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hopkins,
Yes.
Councilman Grimm,
Yes.
Councilwoman Nowakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Cobb.
Yep.
Motion to adjourn accepted, 7 to
All right.
0.
And we will see everybody back right at 7 o'clock or a little bit before.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.